All right, let's talk Las Vegas Raiders. This has been a team that's been crushing it this offseason. We've been following it every step of the way, Raider Nation. As you know, guys who watch us, a lot of things to be excited about. And there's a new report out of Las Vegas that points to a generational new Raider that is impressing everybody. And there's some crazy good numbers to back it up. We'll report on that in just 1 second. But first, I'm Nick. That is Andrew. And this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, we've covered a lot this offseason. The Raiders had a really nice draft. They got value across the board when you looked at it collectively. We found a lot of steals going through it. You look at Grant, the offensive lineman, of course, Thornton, the wide receiver. You look at a guy like Porter, the corner, right? They've done a really nice job across the board, finding a lot of great guys, a lot of great pieces. Looks like they got a lot of value. But the guy at the top of the draft that stole the headlines, Ashton Jeanty, of course, running back out of Boise State, when the Raiders selected him, a lot of people were like, hey, good pick. He's a really good player. Good job. But I think people got lost just because in all the attention and buzz on so many other players. Look, it's a busy, hectic time of the year. It makes sense on how good this kid is, how good he will be for the Raiders. Let's jump into some recent reporting that ESPN did. Then we got some just absolutely bonkers data for you guys on the other side. The report says Coach Pete Carroll said Gene T was, quote, every bit, unquote, of what the team had hoped for during the offseason program, admiring his pass catching ability and understanding of the offense. Meanwhile, offensive coordinator Chip Kelly said he's one of the most talented running backs he has seen enter the league. During OTAs and minicamp, Gene received the majority of the first team reps, a sign that he has already established himself as the team's top running back. He's such a strong and dynamic back, Raiders starting left tackle Colton Miller said. Even if he gets hit, he's still balanced, and that's super unique. All right, so Gene T's obviously off a good start, doing some good things, and it's been covered by a lot of people this offseason. We're hearing coaches, veteran players, assistant coaches, offensive coordinators, media. Everyone says this guy looks really, really good. And it makes sense, right? Those of us who followed college football last year, yeah, Gene T was really, really good with Boise State. I don't think people understood how generationally good he really was last year and how special of a player he is coming to the National Football League. Let's jump into some of the data I was talking about. So this is looking at one of my favorite metrics to evaluate running backs. This is missed tackles forced right here. And Gene T led the country. He was first in the country in missed tackles forced. You can see it all the way on the far left where first, that's Gene T, and then everyone else. You got second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down to tied for 17th. Now, why did I pick tied for 17th? Here's what I want to highlight here, guys, how dominant Ashton Gene T is. The gap between first, Gene T, and second is the same size, the same number of missed tackles forced as the gap between second and 17th. Think about that for a second, right? The gap between number one, Gene T, and his runner up is the same size as the gap between number two, his runner up, and 17. The difference between one and two, one spot, same size as 15 spots. That's how dominant this guy was at the college game. This is generational stuff, right? I know he put up a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, and that was very special. Went to the Heisman Trophy, was a finalist for that, right? Didn't go to him, went to Travis Hunter, of course, but he was, again, right in the running for it. But we see guys that have a lot of rushing yards and see guys with a lot of touchdowns, right? That's not uncommon. This kind of physical, analytical dominance is something that just doesn't happen. It's like once in a decade, once in a generation kind of stuff. Let's go up. This isn't just the only metric he has this, by the way. Let's go into our next chart again, highlighting what I'm talking about. This is yards after contact per attempt. Again, Ashton Gene T, well, this is one of my favorite statistics, by the way. Again, we're talking per attempt, how much yards after contact. You need that from a running back. Great sign of how good a player is going to be in the NFL. But anyway, Ashton Gene T once again led the country in that. You can see him all the way on the far left. Look how much he sticks out from the pack right here, guys. This is bonkers. And again, you can see I go from first all the way to 20th on the far right. And once again, this is what I'm highlighting. The gap between Ashton Gene T, who was first in the country, to his runner-up number two is the same size as the gap between number two and 20. Again, the gap between 1 and 2, that's one position, same size as the gap between 2 and 20, 18 positions. That's how dominant this guy is. It's not just this metric. We talked about missed tackles forced 1 second ago. It's in every single metric. That's how special this guy is. We highlighted these two, but you can go down another like dozen of them. This is all courtesy of PFF, by the way, just give him credit where credit is due. But you can look at a dozen of these metrics, go really into the analytics, and on every single one, he is so dominant, right? This is one of those moves, one of those additions that it looks good on paper, and everyone gives it an A grade and say, hey, good draft pick, and it certainly was. But people lose sight of how great a player Ashton Gene T was, how great a player he will be for the Raiders. The data supports it. The opinions say it. coaches' opinions, players' opinions, media's opinions, across the board, it's becoming 100% undeniably clear the Raiders have a generational talent on their hands with this rookie, Ashton Jeanty. All right, Miles, I know you've got a few thoughts on this, but first, Raider Nation, in the comment section below, I've got a tough question for you guys. Who is your favorite Raiders running back in team history? It doesn't have to be the best, right? And that'd be a tough question too. But who is your favorite? Me personally, I'm a Charlie Garner man myself. I thought his versatility was pretty cool. Maybe you're a Tyrone Wheatley guy. That's a name some of you guys probably haven't heard in a while, but maybe it's someone else completely. Give us, in your opinion, your favorite Raiders running back in team history. Put them in the comment section below. And Mize, I want to hear from you. But again, Raider Nation, just one reminder, make sure they are good comments, because if it's the best comment of the week, we highlight it in our Substack newsletter, which, by the way, it's free. Sign up for it. You should. It's good stuff. Raider Nation, we know you guys really like it. So again, give us your best comment and check out our description block below for a link to our Substack newsletter. Again, it's free. But enough from me, Mize. What's your thoughts on this latest update out of Las Vegas?
Yeah, Nick, first for me, I think, probably not necessarily super popular. My favorite Raiders running back, Darren McFadden. I liked him in college, liked him at the Raiders. Wasn't the best by any means, but thought he was a very interesting running back. But I think I probably could have a new favorite running back for the Raiders here soon. And I think when you look at Jeanty, the guy is absolutely incredible. And what he does is just, if he can do a fraction of what he was able to do in college in the NFL, he's going to be a really, really special talent. I think we're already seeing that's probably going to be the case. He's just that kind of guy. Everybody coming into the league, he's that much further ahead than all of these guys. And I think just by looking at what GT did this season, it's really quite incredible. There's only one time this entire season that he rushed for under 120 yards. One time. And it was for 99 yards. So, I mean, he's still a decent game for any other regular mortal running back. So one time this whole season that the guy rushed for under 120 yards. I think that is really, really a crazy stat. And again, he rushed for over 200 yards 6 times this season. So the guy is just absolutely phenomenal. Everybody knows about it, but let's take the time to talk about it. This guy is something special. I think what you bring up, the yards after contact per attempt, it just shows it's more of a balance. You take it into account. GT could have had a ton of attempts, average everything out, and he's still just that much better than everybody else. And the missed tackles force just shows his elusiveness. He's not just, a one, cut back. This is a guy that can make people miss. He can do a lot of really good stuff. And overall, I think this is going to be a strong, strong addition to this Raiders team, who, quite frankly, if you look at the roster for the Raiders, they're looking better and better every time we look at them. I think they've added a lot of great things to their roster. I think Thornton's going to be a great wide receiver. We talked about Porter as well. I think they got some great depth at the offensive line position. They're starting to get that to be a more respectable unit for this team. The safeties, we did some videos earlier this offseason about their safeties looking good. We love one of our favorite players, Malcolm Kuntz, is back into the fold here for the Raiders as well. We think he can be an absolutely special player, especially when you look at what he was able to do in 2023, the last year he played. Just overall, this Raiders team is looking quite special. And it was a team that last year did, loves Amir White. I think he's a great guy, but they didn't have a good running back last year. They did not have a good running back last year. Now you add a guy like Jeanty, who could quite possibly be the best running back in the NFL if he continues what he's able to do. And now they have a competent quarterback as well that fits the scheme. Comfortable with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, really great guy. So I think this Raiders team is going to be significantly night and day better. I think there's going to be a huge jump. I think large part due to the running back position and what GT is able to add to this team. So overall, if I'm a Raiders fan, I look at the data, I look at the numbers, I see how good GT is, but I also see how bad they were last year at the running back position and where they could improve the most. They improved as much as they possibly could. I think it's going to be a special year for Las Vegas. I think we're going to see some really great stuff out of GT as well.